Hello, testing. All right. Hello, Rick. Welcome to those who are joining. How's audio and video? Hello, Maria. Welcome. Can you hear me? How's my internet connection? All right. Thank you, Christian. Hello, Gregory. Welcome. I'm still in Colorado. I fly out on Wednesday morning, so I'm here for another day and some change. This is going to be the last Dhammapalooza for a couple weeks because I'm going to be in California in tents and in kutis. So no live streaming and things like that for a couple weeks. How's the connection? Can you hear me? Everything good? Oh, Christian says it's all right. Very good. Hello, Karuna. Welcome. All right. So I'm going to try. Yes, I can. I'm going to try to share screen. I'm on my new computer, so I've not done this yet. Let's see. Should work. There we go. Okay. We'll get started. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Evang me sutang ekang samayang bhagava savatiyang viharati jetavane anatapindakassa arame tatrako bhagava bhikkhu amantesi bhikkhavoti badante tite bhikkhu bhagavato pachasso sung bhagava etadavocha Mettaya bhikkhave chaituvimuttiya asevataya bhavataya bahulikataya yanikataya vatukataya anutataya parichattaya susamaradaya ekadasa nisangsa patikanka katame ekadasa Sukang supati sukang patipujjati na papakang supinang passati manusanang piyohoti amanusanong piyohoti devatarakanti nasagiva visangva sattangva kamati tuvatang chittang samadhyati mukkavanno vipasidati asamulo kalang karoti utaring apatti vijanto Brahmaloko upaggohoti mettaya bhikkave chetu vimuttiya sevataya bhavataya bahulikataya yanikataya vatukataya anuttitaya parichattaya susamaradaya ime ekadasa nisangsa patikankati Idangavocha bhagava attamana te bhikkhu bhagavato basitong abhinandunti. Oh. Yeah, I can see all your comments, Gregory and Karuna. YouTube, and I've actually come across this with like secular streamers. There's been some complaints about YouTube recently, and a good chunk of my streams the last month, there's been issues where like I guess people are typing something and I don't see it. So there's definitely some wonkiness on YouTube's end. All right. So that's the 11 benefits. And I didn't read the English, but let me see if I can remember it off the top of my head. 1 goes to bed in peace. 1 wakes up in peace. 1 sees no evil dreams. 1 is dear to human beings, dear to non-human beings. Devas protect 1. Fire, poison, and sword cannot touch 1. The gains concentration quickly. Continence is serene. If you don't become awakened, you go to the Brahma realm. I'm missing 1. I'm always missing 1. There's always 1 that I always miss. Let me see it. Let me see if I can remember. Oh, the dies without confusion. That's right. Dies without confusion. 1 dies without. So 10 out of 11 ain't bad. All right. Twitch doesn't. You can't save your recordings on Twitch. I actually do. I stream to Twitch. I literally, for the last year and a half, while I'm doing this is streaming to Twitch right now. But the thing is, the Twitch does not hold on to the recordings. You have to download it and then upload it somewhere else. So almost every once in a while, I get like 1 random person on Twitch, and it's usually they do all kinds of spammy comments. So I don't even know if it's an actual person. It's probably more like a bot. All right. Okay, friends. Well, it is Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. here in the mountains in Colorado. Well, not quite the mountains, in the flatland next to the mountains. And that means it's time for Dhammapalooza. They first Dhammapalooza in a while. I mean, we tried last week. I tried because my computer had died, and I tried on my phone. All kinds of spammers joined, just like what happens during Murder Master experience. And then something happened with the stream; it cut. Um, so this is the first Dhammapalooza in a while, and it's going to be the last Dhammapalooza for a while, as I go to California on Wednesday. Um, well, you guys know the drill. If there's any questions, you can put them in the chat. Any topics you'd like me to discuss, you can put them in the chat. And if not, we always have a sutta ready to be read. Well, I think, Karuna, that continence is complexion. I mean, it's basically the same thing, if I'm not mistaken. It's like a brightness in your face, you know? And I don't necessarily know if it means like physically, but let's see, I'm trying to. Yeah, continence means appearance, especially the look or expression of the face. Calm facial expression, composure. So you have a very serene face. Yeah, beautiful complexion. That's kind of weird. Yeah, you can have a beautiful complexion with like makeup and layers, like put some makeup on another layer and all that kind of stuff. All right. Gregory says he was at Empty Cloud this weekend. Very good. No worries, Rick. Take care of yourself. Be better as much as you can. Yeah, it's something. It's I could probably find it on my Google Keep. I believe it is the qualities of a monastic, something to that effect. But yeah, it's about admonishment. I can't think of a sutta right off the top of my head. It's multiple places in the suttas. It's a pretty common thing. Right? Let's see here. Hmm. Men 15, let's look. Let's read it, see what we get. Measuring up. So I've heard at one time Venerable Mahamoggallana was staying in the land of the Buggas at Crocodile Hill in the deer park at Basakala's Wood. There, Venerable Mahamoggallana addressed the mendicants. Reverends, mendicants, Reverend, they replied. Venerable Mahamoggallana said this: suppose a mendicant invites. Oh, what did I do? Suppose a mendicant invites other mendicants to admonish them, but they're hard to admonish, having qualities that make them hard to admonish. They're impatient and don't take instructions respectfully, so their spiritual companions don't think it's worth advising and instructing them, and that person does not gain their trust. And what are the qualities that make them hard to admonish? Firstly, a mendicant has corrupt wishes, having fallen under the sway of corrupt wishes. This is a quality that makes them difficult to admonish. Furthermore, a mendicant glorifies themselves and puts others down. They're irritable, overcome by danger. They're irritable and acrimonious due to danger. They're irritable and stubborn due to anger. They're irritable and blurt out words bordering on anger. When accused, they object to the accuser. When accused, they rebuke the accuser. When accused, they retort to the accuser. When accused, they dodge the issue, distract the distracted discussion with irrelevant points, and display annoyance, hate, and bitterness. When accused, they are unable to account for the evidence. They are offensive and contemptuous. They're jealous and stingy. They're devious and deceitful. They're obstinate and arrogant. Furthermore, a mendicant is attached to their own views, holding them tight and refusing to let go. This too is a quality that makes them difficult to admonish. These are the qualities that make them hard to admonish. Does this sound familiar, Gregory? Suppose a mendicant doesn't invite other mendicants to admonish them, but they're easy to admonish, having qualities that make them easy to admonish. They're accepting and take instruction respectfully, so their spiritual companions think it's worth advising and instructing them, and that person gains their trust. One of the things that I did on advice, this is advice I've gotten from multiple monastics over the years. But one of the things when I started, going to other monasteries, especially when I went to Abhayagiri, one of the first things I did was to offer all of the monastics, regardless of seniority, regardless of vasa, that if they were to see that I was doing anything that was against the korwat, against the rules of the monastery, that any of them could admonish me. Any of them could tell me, you're doing this wrong, or you shouldn't be doing this, etc. Um, and that that made a big impression on the senior monastics at Abhayagiri that I did that. Because of course there's the inviting that people that can admonish you, and then there's the, well, how do you handle admonishment? And I think I handled a few admonishments pretty well. So everything went well, and they like when I come back. So, which I'll be in about a week and a half. I'll be back at Abhayagiri. I'm looking forward to that. But and what are the qualities that make them easy to admonish? First, the mendicant doesn't have corrupt wishes, and it goes through the whole list again, which Bhante Sujato has not translated out again. Furthermore, a mendicant isn't attached to their own views, not holding them tight, but letting them go easily. These are the qualities that make them easy to admonish. In such a case, a mendicant should measure themselves like this. This person has corrupt wishes, having fallen under the sway of corrupt wishes, and I don't like or approve of this person. And if I were to fall under the sway of corrupt wishes, others wouldn't like or approve of me. A mendicant who knows this should give rise to the thought, I will not fall under the sway of corrupt wishes. I will not fall under the sway of etc., 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 all the different things. This person is attached to their own views, holding them tight and refusing to let go, and I don't like or approve of this person. And if I were to be attached to my own views, holding them tight and refusing to let go, others wouldn't like or approve of me. A mendicant who knows this should give rise to the thought, I will not be attached to my own views, holding them tight, but will let them go easily. In such a case, a mendicant should check themselves like this. Do I have corrupt wishes? Have I fallen under the sway of corrupt wishes? Suppose that upon checking, a mendicant knows that they have fallen under the sway of corrupt wishes, then they should make an effort to give up those bad, unskillful qualities. But suppose that upon checking, a mendicant knows that they have not fallen under the sway of corrupt wishes, then they should meditate with rapture and joy, training day and night in skillful qualities, and then going through all the different things. If you know you have this unskillful quality inside you, you should train hard to abandon it. If not, you can abide peacefully. We see this in many suttas, this framework connected with, if you see that there's unskillfulness, you should try hard with the zeal of someone who has their head on fire, like one of the Maggaseka attitudes, right? Mountain, fire, banner, lion, right? Practicing like your head's on fire to abandon that unskillfulness. Suppose that upon checking, a mendicant knows that they're attached to their own views, holding them tight and refusing to let go, that they should make an effort and give up those bad skillful qualities. Suppose that upon checking, a mendicant knows this, then they should meditate and with rapture and joy, training day and night in skillful qualities. Suppose that upon checking, a mendicant sees that they haven't given up all these bad, unskillful qualities, then they should make an effort to give them up. But suppose that upon checking, a mendicant sees that they have given up all these bad, unskillful qualities, then they should meditate with rapture and joy, training day and night in skillful qualities. Suppose that there was a woman or man who was young, youthful, and fond of adornments, and they checked their own reflection in a clean, bright mirror or a clean bowl of water. If they see any dirt or blemish, they try to remove it. But if they don't see any dirt or blemish there, they're happy, thinking, how fortunate that I am clean. In the same way, suppose that upon checking, a mendicant sees that they haven't given up all these bad and unskillful qualities, then they should make an effort to give them all up. But if they have given up these unskillful qualities, they should meditate with rapture and joy, training day and night in skillful qualities. This is what Venerable Mahamoggallana said, satisfied the mendicants approved of what Mahamoggallana had said. So yeah, that sounds about right to me. Well, I mean, think of all the situations in life where you are, have somebody above you. Like when you're a child, you have your parents. And when you work, you often have a boss, unless you're your own boss. And then sometimes if you're your own boss, you really hand it to yourself, cause yourself a lot of suffering, and so there's any situation where you need some correction, these all apply. How do I get defensive? Do I take offense to things? Do I escalate a situation when somebody's just trying to point out something I should know and I should work on? All these qualities are very important, even for lay people. Because it's really about what's the overwhelming theme. The overwhelming theme is, do I have these unskillful qualities, and I should work hard to abandon them. Right? Working hard to abandon unskillful qualities. Which is actually quite similar to the sutta I had picked out. The sutta I had picked out is Majjhima Nikaya number 114, which is literally what should and should not be cultivated. I think we'll probably end at the hour, like I have been doing. I've only been in, this Colorado trip is a fairly short one, under 2 weeks, but boy, it's been very productive. Been very busy, um, meetings and making connections and things like that. Went to my first katina in Colorado yesterday. Then I'm gonna be at Karuna Buddhist Vihara's katina next weekend. This weekend coming up, it's katina season. Yeah, did you all read about the stories I had with my pindapots in Colorado? Did you catch those? You've not seen me on Facebook or my website? So um last time I was here, I did Pindapot in Little Saigon, which is it's kind of like easy mode. not much not much challenge there. And also not much outreach to, like, you know, the average person. This is kind of like a siloed kind of, Asian place. So like, a lot of them will be familiar with a, you know, with a Buddhist monk. Not everybody, but it's kind of easy mode. Um, And I always view Prinderpot as also kind of marketing and getting out in the public and having people meet a monk and things like that. So Randy, the gentleman who's my main supporter here in Colorado, suggested this this uh, strip, Tennyson. It's kind of like the young hip place, apparently, the young hip professional area, and I figured, okay, that sounds good. Might as well. I'm probably not going to get any food, but at least I'll have some interesting interactions. And so last Saturday, not this past one, but the one before that, uh, turned out when I went on Saturday morning, there was a fall festival, not unlike the fall festivals that I would go to when I was a foster and adoptive home recruiter and set up my tent and things like that. Um, and so lots of people, tons of people. The street was really busy. And so I figured, oh, well, this might be good for my chances. So I just kind of started walking. I'd never been to this street before, so I didn't know what to expect. And I'm just kind of walking in the pin to pot way down the road with everybody else. And you come to this area where um, there's a bit of an opening, and on one side is a stage, and on the other side are like where people sit to watch the stage. And the first time I'm walking past it, there's a woman on it, and she's doing yoga. And I look to the other side, and there's a bunch of women doing yoga over there. And here I am as this monk, just doing like my mindful pin to pot, just walking slowly down the road. And I was like, I kind of wanted to like look around and see what kind of looks I was getting. It was kind of funny. And then, well, I also put it on my website, not just not just Facebook. Um, but Facebook is actually really good for that kind of engagement. Facebook, I get much more engagement than like just my website or anything like that. So I still stick around, and plus, it's the best way for me to keep in contact with so many monastics. So Facebook is great for that. But so then I, walked down to the end of kind of like the area. I turned around and I came back, and I found like a little side road where they made into a food court. And I went down to the food court area, and I saw this nice spot that was kind of prominent, but not in anybody's way. And like that, I saw that in my mind. I was like, ding, 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 this is the place to go. And so I just stood there and I had my bowl. And there's a debate as to whether you should have the lid on the bowl or have the bowl open. And I'm more convinced it would people would understand more with the bowl open. So I tried it. I tried just the bowl. So I had, sit there with my eyes downcast, just doing the monk, pin to pot thing with my bowl. And I kind of tipped it over a little bit, just a little bit of an angle. And so I was just there. And then this woman, she's probably like late 20s, early 30s. She comes up to me. She looks at my bowl and she goes like, having a rough start, huh? And then she just walks away. I think she assumed I was panhandling, like I was looking for money. And so that was it was so abrupt. She just comes up, looks at my bowl, having a rough start, huh? And then just turns and walks away. Um, and then there was another young woman who came up, and she she looked at my bowl, and she was a bit more inquisitive, and she like asked, and I explained to her, I'm a Buddhist monk, and this is what we do. I did not accept money. It's just for food, etc. And then she's like, "Oh, interesting. Okay." And then she walks away. And then I get two groups of kids. One group of kids comes and they kind of look, and they all look at my bowl. And my bowl, because I botched a firing, my bowl is like almost like tie dye a little bit. It's kind of really wild colors, and like it's really interesting to look into. And they were like looking into it, like, "Whoa, that's cool." They're just all like looking into my bowl. And so I played around with them a little bit, talked to them, and they went away. And then another group of kids came, and the same thing. Um, the father was there this time, and they asked me questions, and I talked to them, and then they just went away. And then this older woman comes up, and she's like, "Not money, food, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." She's actually like, "Yeah." She's like, "Okay, okay, I'll be right back." And so she goes to one of the food, like what do they call it? I don't know what you call it, like the vehicles that they can drive the food to there. So like the vehicle is the food cart. And she gets me some tacos and things like that, and she puts it in my bowl. And I said, "Do you want a blessing?" And I'm like, "Okay." And she's like, "Sure." And I give the blessing. And then I ask her, I say, "How did you know?" She's an older woman, probably like my parents' age, probably like mid 70s. And she said, in the last 6 or 7 years, I've come back to my Christian faith. I'm a Catholic, but for a bunch of years, you could have maybe have called me as somebody like a Buddhist or interested in Buddhism, and my daughter is also a Buddhist, right? So we have this Catholic lady who gives me food. Really, that's the first time I've ever done like a pindapot where somebody actually by myself, where somebody actually gave me food. So that was like the first time, and so I just kind of like just wanted to get to know her to understand like why how she knew. And that was just an interesting thing. And then she went away, and then I just kind of there was a park right there, and so I went under a tree and I set myself and I had my two tacos, and it wasn't enough, like it wasn't a full meal, but I felt like so much. I felt so happy, like so like generosity was just so like brought me so much happiness. Like, oh, this is so nice that this woman gave to me, and I felt much gratitude for that. And I ate the tacos, and like I said, it wasn't enough for like a full meal like normal, but I was like, I'm okay, I'm content. Like I felt like I didn't need to have any other food. I was good. And what came to my mind was one of my favorite lines from the Dhammapada, where in the section where it says, blessed are we, those who are free of hatred among those who hate. Right? You maybe blessed are wonderful or happily we live. Happily we live. That's what the word. Happily we live. We who are free of avarice among the avaricious. Right? And then the last line is like, um, feeders on joy we shall be, like the radiant God. Like I felt like I was full from joy from that experience. Um, and it was a good experience. And then so I was like, okay, I'm going to go again to the same spot next week because I want to see what it's like, but there's not a fair going on. And so I went 2 days ago. I went again on Saturday, and it turned out it wasn't like that as much people, but it turned out like I guess the businesses set up like for trick or treating. So there was just tons and tons of families, little kids dressed up, and adults, their parents are dressed up. And long story short, obviously, that kind of hurt my chances of getting any pindapot because most people just thought I was in costume. Even a couple adults like looked at me like, like, oh, that's an interesting costume or whatever. Um, but the best part of that day was this adorable little 4-year-old kid who's dressed up like, like muscular Iron Man, like the padded Iron Man suit. And he looks up to me and goes, I really like your costume. I was like so like full of meta, this little kid, and I said I like yours too, Iron Man. And then it turned out like later on, like maybe a half hour later, as I was walking, is I found like a little like organic grocer, not like a Whole Foods, just like a you know like a mom and pop, and I just kind of stood out. I stood out in front of that for like 20 minutes, and I think nobody came up to me or anything like that. Um, and I was coming back, and he saw me again. He's like, "I know you. I saw you." So it was a, a nice experience in that way to see the kids out and everybody trick or treating and things like that. Um, and then Randy took me to um, a Thai restaurant. There's a couple of Thai restaurants on that road, and they weren't open yet because it was before 11 when I was doing my walking back and forth. And so we ate there, and we sat down and we ate. And I don't know if they knew if I was a real monk or not. I think maybe they thought maybe it's this Halloween thing that I'm not a real monk or whatever. But I think uh, towards the end when I was about to leave, they were convinced I was a real monk. And so they, did the Thai thing, and they got on their knees and they wanted to offer me some money and things like that. And I did the blessing for them and I thanked them, all that, the normal Thai monk interactions. And then I left. And so that was my Pindapot experiences. Um, this is something I'm going to be doing. I'm hoping to stay for a month and a half to 2 months, like March and April next year. So I'm going to try to do this stuff like fairly regularly. It's really good to like get it to meet people and to get out. But those are my Pindapot experiences. Let's see here. Here we go. Let's I'll share this. Sukhavagga, happiness. This is my favorite translation of the Dhammapada is Acharya Buddharakkhita, not Bhante Buddharakkhita, the Ugandan who is at Bhavana. This is a much older Sri Lankan monk, I believe. Um, but so happy indeed we live, friendly amidst the hostile. Amidst hostile men we dwell free from hatred. Happy indeed we live, friendly amidst the afflicted by craving. Amidst the afflicted men we dwell free from affliction. Happy indeed we live, free from avarice amidst the avaricious. Amidst the avaricious men we dwell free from avarice. Here it is. Happy indeed we live, we who possess nothing. Feeders on joy we shall be, like the radiant gods. I love that line. That's one of my favorite lines in all of the Dhammapada. It's just it's so, I don't know, it's so beautiful. It's so like, something you would want to experience, that you would want to develop. Happy indeed we live, we who possess nothing. Feeders on joy we shall be, like the radiant gods. So if you're joining us and you'd like to say hello in the chat, please do so. This Dhammapalooza is a community event, which means it's not just listening to Bante J yap on for hours on end. So remember that I'm actually, when I get back from California on the 15th, I'm going to be in New Jersey from the 15th to like the 26th, and then I'm flying out to India for 2 weeks. So my India trip is November 26th to December 11th. So obviously I won't be doing any streams or anything then. So until close to Christmas, my streaming is going to be on and off, mostly off from here on in. All right, I think I might call it. I've actually had a fairly busy day. I had lunch with one of the local teachers, one of the local insight organizations, um, today. So that was a good couple hours of discussion, making good connections. We'll see if they flower. Am I going back to Tom's River? Uh, yeah, either Tom's River or probably Tom's River because I'm going to have to unload a bunch of stuff. I'm going to India with very little, because I don't need to bring computers for streaming or anything like that. I'm going to really try to be as light as possible, um, with 15-hour flights and going all about who knows where. some some random Sri Lanka monk that I have no idea who they are who's going to pick me up and tour guide me around. I have no idea what I'm going to experience. So I figured that if I'm lighter the better, not lugging around too many things. So thank you, Rick. All right, friends. I think we're good. This was a nice almost hour. So, all right. Well, if I'm alive, I'll see you in a couple weeks. Suki Hotu, may you be happy and at ease, practice well and be well. May you have a spiritually successful and peaceful practice until we meet again. And one thing that I kind of fell off the wayside of doing that I really feel like I should be doing is making more, um, kind of like making more, sharing of my journey, right? Like I kind of realized, like, why aren't I like making a post about like this Pindapod and like sharing these stories and things like that? Um, and so I'm going to try to really start doing that more. Even in California, when I can, not when I'm going to buy a gear because I'm not going to have any internet the whole week. Um, but otherwise, I'm going to try to just pop in and just you know update on my journeys and things like that. So, all right, friends, have a good one. I have TikTok. I should do that. I have a TikTok. I just, I've been lazy in social media in general these days. I really need to get back into it though. All right. Okay, friends. Goodbye.